Hollywood loves a rising star, but just as quickly as it builds someone up, it can just as easily tear them down. And right now, one of the brightest young actresses in the industry, Sydney Sweeney, finds herself in the middle of a storm. Over the past few weeks, her name has been everywhere not just because of her acting talent or glamorous red carpet looks, but because of a double controversy that has taken over social media, the press, and even political conversations. On one hand, her latest movie Americana struggled badly at the box office. On the other hand, she became the face of a now infamous American Eagle advertising campaign that critics claim was tone-deaf, offensive, and even carried disturbing echoes of Nazi propaganda. So what really happened? How did Sydney go from Hollywood's sweetheart to being called out online, roasted in the media, and even pulled into political debates? And what does all of this mean for her career moving forward? In this video, we're breaking down everything from the box office flop, to the ad backlash, to the wider cultural conversation surrounding Sydney Sweeney. Get comfortable, grab a snack, and let's dive into one of the most talked about celebrity controversies of the year. To understand why this controversy matters so much, we first need to talk about who Sydney Sweeney is and why her reputation matters. Sydney first gained serious attention through HBO's hit series Euphoria, where she played Cassie Howard, a character that showcased her dramatic range and made her a fan favorite. Then came The White Lotus, another HBO hit, where she played Olivia, a spoiled yet sharp-witted daughter on vacation in Hawaii. These roles established her as not just another young actress, but someone with real acting chops, capable of balancing emotional depth with mainstream appeal. Outside of TV, she's landed high-profile movie roles, magazine covers, fashion campaigns, and even launched her own production company called 50/50 Films. She's often celebrated for her work ethic, her relatability in interviews, and her glamorous yet grounded image. In short, Sydney Sweeney was on an unstoppable trajectory, one of those rare young stars that everyone in Hollywood wanted to work with. Which is exactly why her current situation has become such a hot topic. When a star shines that bright, even the slightest misstep gets magnified. Let's start with Americana, Sydney's most recent movie. Released on August 15, 2025, in over 1,100 theaters across the United States, it was positioned as a moody indie film with a lot of star power behind it. The movie tells the story of Penny Jo Poplin, played by Sydney, a woman chasing her dreams of becoming a country music star while navigating love, struggle, and betrayal in small-town America. Directed by Tony Tost, Americana was marketed as an edgy, soulful, almost Western-inspired drama with a modern twist. But when the box office results came in, they were shocking and not in a good way. The film only pulled in $840,000 in its entire opening weekend. That's less than $1 million, despite being shown in over 1,000 theaters. To put that into perspective, it ranked 16th at the US box office. For a film headlined by one of Hollywood's hottest young stars, that's a disappointing result, to say the least. Now, the studio has downplayed this flop, saying that Americana was designed as a multi-platform release, meaning streaming and video on demand will play a big role in its financial success. But industry insiders can't help but notice the timing. The movie came out right in the middle of Sydney's American Eagle controversy, and that negative publicity may have kept audiences away. Some critics said the film itself was uneven, though Sydney's performance was praised. Others argued that she simply couldn't carry an indie movie on her own yet. Whatever the reason, the fact is clear. Americana did not land the way it was supposed to, and it added fuel to the narrative that Sydney's star power might not be as untouchable as once believed. Now let's get to the part of the story that really put Sydney Sweeney under fire: the infamous American Eagle ad campaign. Back in late July, American Eagle launched a new denim campaign featuring Sydney as the star. The campaign had a playful concept: great jeans as in denim, but with a pun on great genes as in DNA. One of the main ads featured Sydney smiling and saying, "Genes are passed down, my genes are blue." It was cheeky wordplay, meant to tie in with her iconic blonde-haired, blue-eyed look while promoting a new line of jeans, including a special edition pair called the Sydney Jean. On paper, it sounded like a typical fun fashion campaign. But almost immediately, backlash exploded online. Critics accused the ad of being tone-deaf and offensive, saying the wordplay about genes was far too close to dangerous ideas of eugenics. Some even compared the visuals blonde hair, blue eyes, the focus on great genes to Nazi propaganda from the 1930s. Memes flooded Twitter, TikTok, and Instagram, with people editing the ad to include old propaganda posters, pointing out the eerie similarities. Others criticized the campaign for being overly sexualized, arguing that instead of celebrating body positivity or individuality, it reduced Sydney to a genetic stereotype. The backlash got so big that mainstream outlets like Euronews, ABC, and Elle covered it, calling it one of the most tone-deaf ad campaigns in years. American Eagle responded quickly, saying the ad was always meant to be about denim and body positivity, not genetics or ideology. They quietly updated campaign visuals to include more diversity and even disabled comments on some posts. But here's where it gets even more complicated: the political angle. Conservative voices, including Donald Trump, rushed to defend Sydney, praising her and blaming the backlash on so-called cancel culture. Even the White House commented, calling the outrage cancel culture run amok. Meanwhile, progressives and critics doubled down, saying Sydney should be held accountable for participating in the ad at all. Financially, the impact was mixed. American Eagle's stock actually jumped by 10 to 23% after the campaign launched, adding hundreds of millions of dollars in value. But in real life, store foot traffic dropped down about 4% overall and nearly 9% in some southern states. So while the controversy made headlines, it may not have translated into healthy long-term sales. As for Sydney herself, she stayed silent. She didn't post apologies, didn't comment, and let American Eagle handle the backlash. PR experts actually said this was a smart move because speaking up might have added fuel to the fire. But fans noticed, and her silence made some people feel she wasn't taking accountability. Media outlets had a field day with this controversy. Vanity Fair slammed the campaign as unoriginal and poorly thought out. Euronews and Elle described it as dangerously close to propaganda. PR analysts debated whether the massive buzz was worth the reputational damage. And then there's Sydney herself. Her public image shifted almost overnight. For years, she was seen as this glamorous but relatable Hollywood star, but now, she's viewed as polarizing. To her supporters, she's a victim of cancel culture, unfairly targeted for something she didn't design. To her critics, she's complicit, willingly attaching her name and face to a campaign that was deeply problematic. It's a tough position for any celebrity, but especially one whose career depends on being marketable and likable. So the question is, what does this all mean for Sydney Sweeney moving forward? On one hand, this is Hollywood scandals come and go. Many stars have bounced back from worse. Sydney is talented, in demand, and still has major projects lined up. A single movie flop and a bad ad campaign probably won't end her career. On the other hand, perception is everything. Casting directors, brands, and producers may now see her as a risk. Will audiences show up for her next film? Will brands be cautious about hiring her for future campaigns? These are the questions her team is facing right now. What's certain is that Sydney Sweeney's career has entered a new chapter. She's no longer just Hollywood's golden girl. She's a star navigating controversy, scrutiny, and the harsh realities of fame in the social media age. So here's where we stand. Sydney Sweeney, once Hollywood's brightest rising star, is in the middle of a double storm. Americana underperformed at the box office, and her American Eagle campaign sparked a cultural firestorm that touched on politics, history, and public perception. Is she the victim of an overreaction, or did she make a major mistake by attaching herself to this campaign? And will this controversy fade away quickly, or will it stick with her for years to come? What do you think? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. Do you think Sydney deserves forgiveness, or is this a bigger reflection of Hollywood's tone-deaf marketing? If you enjoyed this deep dive, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more Hollywood breakdowns, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.